Hello students, welcome to the class. Today we are going to learn about HTML, CSS and JavaScript for web developers. So I hope you guys know what is the use of these languages, and that is the reason you are here to learn about it. But still I'm going to tell you the purpose of each computer language which we are learning today, that is HTML, CSS and JavaScript. When you talk about developing websites, these languages are very basic languages, very basic platforms to start on if you want to learn on developing a website. Website is a collection of different number of web pages. So the first most basic thing which we should learn is HTML. Now, when you talk about developing websites, we need three computer languages: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Each one has a different purpose. We will look at each one's purpose in the detail. First, let's talk about HTML. Now, let's go to the example of Amazon website. You can see there is a lot of information on the Amazon website. All that information which you see is written using HTML. So if you want to put any information in your website, you want to structure it, that is done using HTML. That is the purpose of HTML language. So a basic word to remember HTML is structure. It is used to structure your website because you put information, you structure the information. Same way, next is CSS. Now let's talk about CSS. I'm going to tell you the full forms and we will look at each term in the detail, but just to give you a review of what is the purpose of each one, I'm talking about this CSS. Now when you go to the any website, you put the information, you're going to add the information using HTML, but how do you make it look beautiful? So to make it look beautiful, you are going to use CSS. To change the color of your web page, consider you want to change the color, then you want to add the different font, different size. You can see on Amazon, there are different fonts, different sizes available. How is that possible? That is possible using CSS. Now the single word to remember CSS is presentation. So if you want to make your website look really presentable and beautiful, you are going to use CSS. Now let's talk about JavaScript. What is the use of JavaScript? Now to make your website dynamic, if you are going to develop a website just using HTML and CSS, it's going to be static. It will not respond. Now you can see on Amazon what is happening. You are just clicking on a button, add to cart. It is sending the information to the Amazon team that you have purchased this product, and the processing is happening. You get the confirmation message. All this functioning which is happening is done using JavaScript. So if you want to make your website function properly, functioning is done using JavaScript. So the three words which we learned today about the basics of developing a website is HTML is used for structure, CSS is for presentation, and JavaScript is for function. All these three are needed to develop a great website, but the first basic thing which we will start with is HTML. And as we move forward toward the classes, we will learn each one of this in the detail. Let's start with our basic topic, that is HTML for today. HTML. Now let's talk about what is the full form of HTML. It is hypertext markup language. Hypertext markup language is the very basic and the primary language which you are going to use for creating website. Now, like I told you, all the information is written using HTML. So this contains a series of codes used to structure text, image, and all other content in the browser. So it's very easy to learn and very easy to modify. So it is a combination of hypertext and markup language. Now, why we call it combination and what is the meaning of these two words separately, I'll tell you in the detail. Okay, once we move forward towards the presentation. Now it contains all the content of the web page. It is used to structure the web page. That is the single word which I told you to remember. If you want to remember HTML, what is the use of HTML? It's structure. It is used for structuring your web pages. Okay. Now we can create website using HTML, which can be viewed on all internet connected devices. So if you develop website on your laptop, you can view it in your Android mobile phones also. Now, when you structure the website in that, what all this structure content includes? It includes text, it includes hyperlinks, tables, images, media. All this information is there in every website. So it is possible using HTML. Now you are going to use tags in your HTML. So why we use tags? To instruct the browser how the content should be of the web page. So you will instruct your computer. Now how HTML work is, you are going to send some input to the computer using tags. If you want to display something on your web page, you will send that information, you will write that content in your tag, computer will process it and it will give you output. So we are going to send the input, computer is going to do the processing and gives us the output. Let's move forward to the next slide. Now let's see in the detail what do you mean by hypertext markup language and the web page. Let's talk about hypertext. Now before telling you the definition of this, I want to tell you the example of this so that you can relate it. Now consider Amazon web page. Amazon has a different categories. There is electronics, there is a grocery store, there is a clothing store. So there is one single Amazon website which is this categories. Now again, if you go to the clothing, there is a men clothing, kids clothing, women clothing. There are a lot of options. There is a page inside page. There are multiple pages. So if there is a text inside text or page inside page, they are linked together using hyperlinks. Correct? We are linking them together. This is the meaning of hypertext. It is about linking multiple pages together, multiple HTML documents together is hypertext. That is why this is called as hypertext, because you are multiplying lot of pages together. Now, why it is called as a markup language? Because it is used to apply layout and formatting to make it beautiful. You put the proper layout, you add image, you add table, you add link, you add all this to make it attractive. The images make it attractive, table makes it attractive. So all this is included in the markup language. That is why we call it as a markup language. Web page. It is a document that is commonly written in HTML and translated by a web browser. Few minutes back, I told you same thing. Input. We are going to give input to the computer, is going to process it, and it will give us the output on our web browser. Now you can read, a web page can be identified by entering in a URL. Now once you enter the website link, you can see that particular website, correct? Now it can be static also, dynamic also. I told you in the start, like with if you are using HTML and CSS, you can just make static web pages. If you want to function it, you want to make it dynamic, you are going to use JavaScript. Let's move forward. Why are we using HTML? Why is it important to use HTML? What are the features of HTML? The first thing is it's very easy to learn. If you want to get into the web development thing, you are interested in that field, HTML is a very great language to start with. It is very lightweighted. Now you will see how the HTML and CSS works. Tags are more appealing. You can make professional web pages using this basic computer languages. Very basic one, HTML, CSS. Now let's look at the features of HTML. The learning curve is very easy. Whatever you're going to learn in HTML, the process is going to be very easy and very fun. Creating effective presentations. Now, why we are talking about presentations here is, consider you have developed some project, you want to consider you have developed a website only. Now you want to tell someone, you want to present your website to someone, you can create a HTML web page, put the information, everything about your website, put the link of website, you can put the resources which you have used, you can put the resources which you have used. So everything is going to be there in single web page, the link of your game or your link of your website, all the resources which you have used, everything is going to be in just one single page. So you can use it to present something also, or any other work presentation also you can use it. Adding links, wherein we can add references. Like I told you, you can add the references in your web page, but now what does it mean by adding links? You can just not write the information of your reference, you can put the link of your reference using HTML. Link is added. Now it is used to display on all the platforms. It is possible to display on Mac, Windows, Linux. It is compatible with all the platforms. It is also used to add videos, graphics, and audios. So you can see how the YouTube website is created. There are a lot of videos into it. So you can create something which has a lot of videos using HTML. Then we have case insensitive language. What do we mean by case insensitive language? When you write any code, now consider this is written HTML is the first language. So it is not compulsory or mandatory to write something in uppercase or something in the lowercase. A lot of computer languages are case sensitive. Few keywords should be in uppercase only, few keywords should be in lowercase only. But HTML is like very comfortable language and case insensitive, so you can write in any characters. It can be uppercase character or lowercase character. You have the complete freedom for it. Now what are HTML tags? HTML tags are the keywords that define how a web browser will format and display the content. So if you want to give information to the computer to display something, you are going to use tags. Now, how computer identifies what is the HTML content and what is simple content? How computer will understand using this tags. If you put something inside the tag, that is your HTML content, and what is not inside the tag, that is simple content. So this is to make computer understand what should be done with the information. Now, when we talk about HTML tag, it has three parts. Opening tag, you will open it. Then you have content. What do you mean by content here? It is the information. And then we have a closing tag. There are some tags in HTML that are self-enclosing. We don't need to close them. We will see them in the later classes. Now, when a web browser reads an HTML document, the browser reads it from top to bottom and left to right. It reads the complete web page, it means. Now, it is used to create the HTML document and put the properties. So, using tags, you're telling the computer, in a very simple term, it is telling the computer what should be displayed. And each HTML tag is going to have different properties, which we will see in the HTML tags are always written in the angular brackets. Every HTML tag has a different purpose. It is going to tell the computer what should be done and what should be displayed. Now, there are two types of things in tags, opening and closing. In between, there is information. So, you open the tag, then you put some information in it, and then you close the tag. Opening tag is in the angular brackets, and there's a content, and using slash you can close your tag. This is how tags work in HTML. Now in the next session we are going to implement all these tags. We are going to code one program. Thank you so much. Thank you for being in the session.